All right, it looks like we're live and ready to go. So, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of HP Critical Plus. I'm your host Brandon, and I am once again joined by my excellent co-host Christy.
Hi everybody.
Guys, I'm excited. It's been a minute. Y'all know this. We came to do the first part of Great Eastern Chronicles on launch day, but you know we've been a bit tied up with a few other things here and there, both of us. But we did finish up the original Ace Attorney in between that time, so if you guys missed the finale of Ace Attorney or any of the other parts, go ahead and check our YouTube channel, HP Critical. You can catch the almost the entirety of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney playthrough, and I say almost entirety because we haven't done Case 5 yet, but that's, as we explained in that playthrough, that's kind of an addendum to the story. The story finishes in Case 4, and then 5 was something that they added on later to just kind of like, expand on a few things. And we will get there after we finish our Great Ace Attorney playthrough, but enough about that. We're going to continue the playthrough tonight. We got through half of Case 1, and I must say, I was pleasantly surprised at how long this first case is. Normally, you know, we can do like a first case in a stream based on our experience, based on myself and Christy's experience with, past Ace Attorney games, but definitely wasn't the case for Chronicles. we were in there for about 2 hours, and then I was like, oh, we just hit our first to be continue? Okay then! Alright, this is a meaty first case. I'm very excited to continue this playthrough, honestly, because to imagine there's so much more to go through. You know, the Chronicles contains both 8 Great Ace Attorney Adventures and the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, which I'm excited to do both games. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. I'm gonna go ahead and load game. The Adventure of the Great Departure. I will do my not my auto save. I'm sorry, my manual save. And let me fix my light a little bit because it is not facing me. Okay, that should hopefully be a little better. I will have to watch where my webcam is gonna be because I don't want to block information. In fact, I know there's something in the top right. Let me move myself to the top left. But it's been a while since we've done this, so I kind of forgot what's hiding what. So bear with me as I try to figure out where's the best place to have me. Anyways.
It might be that, oh, you have it in the right spot.
Yeah, I have it on the top left at the moment, so hopefully that's
that
okay.
Should be good.
Okay, perfect. 22nd November, 11:38 a.m. Supreme Court's adjudicature. How's that pronounced? I'm sorry, I don't want to keep mispronouncing that.
Pretty sure that's what it is. I've never seen it.
Judicature? Okay. The defendant's antechamber 5. Oh, by the way, I didn't even recap.
I have no idea.
I didn't even recap for the people who have been watching last. So for those who missed part 1 and are joining us now for part 2 of case 1. Last case, you know, let me actually go to the court record. If I have the characters in front of me, it'll be easier to kind of like go through what happened last stream. So, yeah, so the main character is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. He was accused of murdering the victim, one John H. Wilson, and because he held a gun that was used to kill John H. Wilson. However, of course, he didn't do that, and we're trying to figure out who it was. Naruhodo or Ryunosuke had seen there's another person at the table, but everybody was denying it up to that point. And we've only learned that, you know, these people here were hiding it. This character here, Satoru Hosonaga, despite being a waiter, is actually an investigator. But yeah, originally, because Ryunosuke is not quite an attorney yet, he was going to be defended by his good friend Kazuma Asugi. But realizing that Asugi rather, you know, this is his shot to go to Europe, specifically Great Britain, to become an attorney over there. If he lost his case, he would lose his shot of getting there. So Ryunosuke took over the case, self-defended himself, and Kazuma is simply helping him out in this case. Prosecutor is one Taketsuchi Ouchi, a very unsubtle pun to like Winston, to like, you know how like Winston Payne is like winced in pain. Ouchie is literally just ouchies. I love the names. Ouch. And we are guided by Yujin Mikotoba. And these are the other people of the case. But yeah, Ryunosuke has been doing his best to try to like get himself off this. But Kazuma's been helping him out. Ryunosuke hasn't really found his voice yet, but hopefully he'll find it as of this case. Anyway, now let's go. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you started finding consistency in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Oh, hopefully, look at all this Cosmo stuff going on. I hope Marissa comes soon.
I know.
And she's missing her boy. Forget it! It's terrifying! If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again! Anyway, it looks like we exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Jezailles Brett, a student from Great Britain. Is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I am sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then, on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor, and just after I bent down and picked it up, I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended the suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Professor Mikotoba. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy. Our justice system even more so. Which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life, I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma? Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA, and it was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I've no doubt you pair will put up a good fight, right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. Now then. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need.
Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama.
Defendant Naruhodo! Court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow. Before these old fossils know what's hit them.
I love how he calls them fossils.
Yeah. Kazuma? What? Thank you. Really. What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer, and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. Oh, I could go for some sukiyaki. And yes, I just ate, but in the words of Maya Fey, I have a second stomach for sukiyaki.
Exactly.
22nd November, 12:09 p.m., Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. God, I hate this word. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Auchi, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. Thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Sorry. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. There's nothing to worry about.
Kazuma.
I love you so much. He's so cool. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Well, you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down in our nation founders?
Ochi.
Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. Damn. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke. What do you mean? A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses? Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? Shut up! Shut up, you jumped up rookie boy! You and your friend know nothing! Nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in.
Ouch.
Ouchie. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Studying political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there is one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all.
Ouch. Ouch.
There's that pose. Well said, Ryunosuke, despite the wide-eyed look of terror. You little brat! Thank you, counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Jezailles Brett. Yes. Your Excellency! Oh my goodness. Look at her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting Dahlia Hawthorne vibes. Just a little bit. Well,
Right.
What a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land. Tea. Someone bring English tea. In England, no discussions take place without tea. Is that true? No idea. So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? Oh god, this really is giving me Hawthorne vibes.
Hmm. Right?
Of course. My name is Satoru Hasunaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at Le Carnaval. Am I true? Yes, we know all about you already. Inspector Hasunaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea.
Kazuma.
More importantly, a little earlier today, you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Oh yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description of this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Yunosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking.
Ouch.
Guilty. So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. A mask?
I don't even know what to do.
I'll just leave it alone. I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but what? The lady says her name is Jezailles Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student currently enrolled in Yume University's medical faculty. Oh my! What a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird song. As far as I can tell. The detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. You obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. Oh, before I continue, let me just check the court record real quick, see if she appeared there or not. She is there, nice. Jezailles Brett, 24 years. British exchange student who was studying under the victim at Yume University's medical school. Okay. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called Le Carnaval, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? She says, yes. But this could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese? She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau. Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps? Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say? Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Oh dear, this close up.
Dun 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 dun.
Order! Order in court! Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement! Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. Here we go. Witness testimony time. A frightening and sorrowful sight. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. This is a condemning testimony indeed. My God. No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all. Quiet, you filthy wretch! Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard, and look at this snow-white angel. I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe. Ugh.
Ouch.
You're still making the same mistakes, Ryunosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. Ugh, but he's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the two witnesses who testified before and reported back to the bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. Yes, because it's an Ace Attorney game. Anyway. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to. Unless and until the precise location where the witnesses have hidden a weapon can be shown, this is moot. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witnesses' own words in the matter. Ugh! That's ridiculous! If only I was to lift up her dress, I could prove it.
Seriously?
Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. But I didn't fire the gun I picked up! There must have been another gun there that day! You're right about that. Which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. Oh, that's right. This is the 19th century, right? So there's no way they can have ballistic markings to prove which gun fired what.
Exactly.
Damn. And to do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart. Jeez, look at that smirk. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. Time for a cross-examination. A frightening and sorrowful sight. I had arranged to meet for a side late luncheon with Dr. Wilson at the press. Yes! Man, the yes. After 2 p.m., in fact. That's really quite a late lunch, isn't it? Dude, I have lunch at 2 p.m. sometimes. What the hell is that? You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late lunches are in vogue. Isn't that right?
Look at him.
Oh, you can read that. A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. So it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went on lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Yes, that all makes perfect sense. Such wonderful logic! What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is! So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. Press. Yes! He was unable to eat, you say? And that was because he just had a tooth removed at Hada Clinic, correct? I can't believe it's Hada Clinic. Dang it.
No, right?
That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering? Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left? Dear me, what a harrowing experience! To have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight.
Okie dokie then.
So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all? That's right, other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Ryunosuke, about the witness's last statement? For now I'm going to say it's nothing, but I'm going to come back to it later. Just to see what he says. I can't really see anything wrong with it. Really? Alright then, if that's what you think. Kazuma, do you think it's significant in some way? Well, perhaps. But let's do this your way. Maybe I should press on that statement again. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor and they got into a fierce argument. Press. Yes! I never got into an argument with the professor! All I did when I noticed him was go over to say hello! Please, don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing the retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor! I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. No, of course not! Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future. We must all speak English. I wonder if the prosecution would feel that way forever, or only in the presence of a beautiful woman,
Azuma's out here.
Just tearing everyone apart. Well, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I have to find something that won't unravel her testimony, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. That part ties in what you said, doesn't it? Yes, I still had some coffee to drink. And the next time you got up after that was when I'd finished my coffee and stood up to leave. Oh god, that smirk again. And not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. Press. Yes! Like I said, I did not shoot that gun! Like I said, there's no point repeating that assertion over and over. Well,
oh dear.
Well, I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side. Nevertheless, defendant, you can't deny that when the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had a gun in your hand. Well, yes, that's true, but oh no, not the weak one. But all I did was pick up the gun I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. In fact, yes! There was someone much closer to the victim than me at the time. The highly suspicious lady in the That will do, you dirty, rotten scoundrel!
Ouch.
Dirty? Your base accusations could very well cause an international incident, boy! It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours. What nonsense! The lady is merely stating what she saw. Oh god, that smile. And this is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned anyway. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. Press.
Yes!
Obviously. She could, fit a gun somewhere.
Nowhere. It's all very well saying that, but can you prove it? Absolutely. I verified it personally. You verified it? Yes. Immediately after the incident, I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon. I distinctly remember her saying, "I'm not." That's all you did? You just asked her? Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector. No. Why on earth not? The honorable English gentleman clearly stated that she did not possess a weapon. There was obviously no need for any further probing into the matter. Or there was no permission given for any further probing into the matter, perhaps? Think what you will. But if you're going to continue with this preposterous claim that the refined lady was concealing a firearm, the prosecution demands that you support your assertion with facts. In other words, he wants evidence. Ugh. The lady wishes to point out that of course she wanted to stay and assist with the investigation. But she was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university, so she was compelled to leave.
Of course.
Not to mention the fact that your office had told you to get the woman out of there. Not get her out of there, I just urged her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime. Which is why she's only too happy to cooperate and testify here in court today, of course. Unlike a certain student who refuses to admit when the game is up. You could have at least the courtesy to pay attention when I'm goading you!
Ouchie.
So she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor, at the end of which you shot him. Which is an out-and-out, totally unfounded lie. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young, and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. I'm dressed exactly the same way as you are, except for the fluffy red ribbons.
How is there still wind at the courtroom?
It's a well-ventilated courtroom in the 19th century. Oh boy. Well, anyway, this is our only chance to expose her testimony as the fiction that it is. If we can't do that, the trial's over. Even you, with your thick skin, must be able to feel the murderous looks you're getting from around the room. Only too well. I feel half dead already. And the fact that I can't see a single inconsistency in her testimony isn't making me feel any better either. The first thing to do is press her on any of her statements that seem even slightly off to you. Do that, and an opening will present itself. I promise you. I need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that's hiding behind the mask. That's what I should be aiming for in this cross-examination. Okay, now we go back to that statement. Okay, so it was the second statement. I'm going to go ahead and press. Skip ahead a little bit to the choice. Still shocked that it's hot at clinic, but moving on. I'm going to quick swig of water while I'm just skipping through this.
Okay.
Okay, carbonated water. Skip. I forgot how long the statement was before it got to the choice. Okay, here we go. What do you think about that witness last statement? It's very meaningful. The slap. That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case. Well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing, The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. Well, sidestep, counsel. Very well. Miss Brett, kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly, she said. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryunosuke. I ordered a beefsteak for myself, and the professor and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. Press. Yes! So both of you and the professor drank this carbonated water, did you? Yes. Being the waiter, I poured the 2 glasses myself. I clearly remember doing so. Except you're actually a detective. And the beefsteak. That was for you, Miss Brett? The lady says that she heard it was not customary to eat beef here until Japan opened its doors to the world. Yes, that's true. What a frightful place, is the lady's opinion. And I've heard it's not customary to eat sashimi in Great Britain. Now that's frightful. Oh, I love sashimi. Every country has its own cuisine. As long as people have food to eat, what does it matter what it is? True. Come to think of it. The first time I tried carbonated water, it was much more of a shock than the first time I tried beef. But anyway, back to this witness's statement. Somehow, I feel like there's something out of place in what she's saying. We need to pounce on even the slightest thing now, because you never know what might lead to our goal. Our goal of turning this trial around. Understood, Kazuma. Okay, I'm going back to that last statement. Let me see what I got it as evidence-wise. Death occurred at 2 p.m.
Should be the picture.
Let me see.
The crime scene.
It said cheers over 2 glasses. Wait. Crime scene photograph. Wait, hang on. What does it say?
There's only 1 glass.
A bottle covered in a steak lunch can be seen at the victim's table. Over, but
it says, there's only 1 glass.
Ah, they said cheers. Okay, that makes sense. Magnifying glass. Yep, there's only 1 glass. That's the contradiction. Yes!
I think it should be it.
The music stopped. That's it! Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as was left. That is correct, the lady says. Well, it's odd. Very odd. Dear me, what's odd is the defense's inability to express itself. Ryunosuke, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers. The cheers? Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. Ah. You're quite right, Counsel. There's only 1 glass pictured here. Aren't we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over a miniature? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case? Objection! Miniature, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed the glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me you can clink with only 1? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was also terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious!
Sorry.
There! As I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all. Oh, please! We must remember that the student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or two in her state of disarray? That's absurd! Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young, and beautiful woman of mischief? What? No. This can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So, the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end, it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know, really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance there, it's... I'm going to say nothing in particular, see what happens. Well, I'm not really sure there is a deeper significance here at all. You do get it, don't you? If you can't find a reason why this glass matters, you'll almost certainly be found guilty. Ugh, I knew you were going to say that. And I presume you've got this too. It's the fact that she took the glass away in her handbag. That's the deeper significance here. If I'd worked that out, I would have given it as my answer in the first place. Think about it. The lady was carrying a handbag. It could have had almost anything inside it. So, it's time to reconsider your answer, Ryunosuke.
They were really nice this time around.
They were really nice. Like, I knew the answer was the handbag, and what he just said I knew, but I was like, oh, what happens if I say nothing? And they just gave me the answer. Oh, okay. I mean, it is the first case, so I guess it makes sense, but wow.
That's a lot nicer than previous games.
Yeah, I thought they would be like, idiot. There's a significance. Oh, okay. I'll say the right answer now. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth... Oh, they will let me say it. Cool. Even though he just told me, I'm gonna say the glass now. If you ask me, it's the fact that she took the glass that has a deeper significance here. Why do you think that? Because it's the property of the restaurant. It's not some harmless act of pilfering like taking a bar of soap home from the public baths, is it? You take soap from the public baths? What? No! I mean, that isn't significant here. It's very significant, but this isn't the time or the place.
Uh-oh.
There are important things to concentrate on now. I think maybe you should reconsider your position too. Sorry, I will.
Oh, gee.
Okay, now we can answer the actual answer. The significance is the handbag itself. Wait! The lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that, too. What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. You can't seriously be suggesting... Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Did you or did you not search Miss Jezailles Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir. I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. No! Order! 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 What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Prosecutor Ouchie? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations! Ouch. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting. Simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. What? This print is of a photograph that I thought would be proven to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through what's inside. There's the glass. That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. Ah! As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. Order! Order! Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. The photographic of the handbag has been entered into the court record. A photograph taken by Hosonaga-san after the incident occurred. It shows Miss Brett's handbag on a chair by the victim's table. Okay. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness, counsel. Oh no, not the phoenix pose with his hands in his head. Not that. Not that. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print just submitted to the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion. That the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. Oh no, he's still defeated. No. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around. I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Oh no, not Kazuma too. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Yunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What? You mean this is it? I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat while the strong eat. You are wasting your time. There is no way to defeat true justice. A fact you can chew on to your heart's content from the inside of your cell.
No.
This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? And Kazuma. His dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma. What? Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest. Which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. It seems we'll be able to report to the British government on time after all. That smug little... Ryunosuke Naruhodo, having considered all of the evidence placed before me, I hereby Oh, a slam! There it is! Wait! Your Excellency! Ryunosuke? I don't think you can rule on this case yet! This amateurishness is getting tedious! When His Excellency deems that a trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom! Yes! Yes! Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photograph print just simply appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now that means if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question. This is blatant straw clutching! Look at this photographic print! All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence! You better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. Hold on. I want to take a look at the picture closely. Let me see something.
Did you notice something on his hand?
I do notice something on his hand. There's something. Let me compare it to another picture. Yeah, there's a scar there. He was shot in the front, which is how he died. And there's something on the arm too. But what is that? Is that a scar that he was slashed or something?
It's like a burn mark.
Huh. Interesting. Let me continue.
Let me check the crime scene photograph.
The crime scene photograph? Let me see. Isn't that what I saw? Oh, hang on. That knife. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Ooh. Interesting. I see something on the plate. Compare it to the picture. Interesting. Let me continue. Ha! My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution's becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes. Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Very well. I will grant the defense one final opportunity. What? Oh no, not this pose. I hate this. But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at the photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify for the court where in this print we see the significant detail to which you have alluded. Okay, so we already pointed that out, so yeah, we're going to do on the mark there. Yes! Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description. Oh. Dear me! I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say? On the victim's wrist? Clearly that has nothing to do whatsoever with the magnificent lady's handbag. Yes, that is a burn mark, you're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed that when he was performing the post-mortem examination, it was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't notice in his report. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Prosecutor Alchi points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn.
Ouchie.
Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway. What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging, in the hope that I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am? If we can just link that burn to the case, if we can do that, we might be able to prise the shutting door back open again. Just give up, Counsel! You can't possibly hope to do that! Indeed. I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. But if we had evidence... Evidence that irrefutably linked the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it? I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face. Oh no! Chrissy's internet got disconnected. Hopefully she comes back soon. Okay, hang on. Let me see. Did she message me about it? Oh crap, it got disconnected. Yikes. Hopefully it comes back soon. I guess we continue for now. Hopefully she'll be back soon. Really? I have to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves that what that burn really means. So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable link between the connections of the burn in this trial. Okay, as she said, it's that mark right over here.
Yes.
What's this, Counsel? Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things.
I think I'm back.
Awesome! Alright, welcome back. Cool. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further would be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn in his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How? You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy! If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out! Show the court exactly what you mean! What is it in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn?
Yes.
The beefsteak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Oh! Your Excellency, are you alright? As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. This emblem on the plate and the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Ah! Ryunosuke, you genius. You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time. Well, Objection! Ah, Kazuma with the save. Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchi, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And, although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter!
Yes!
There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day or any before it. That's right. And the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antique dealer, all of us, without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Ouchi? Well, yes, I suppose. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think... Can it really be true? I never dreamed we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but... I'm starting to think that maybe... we've been led into a terrible trap!
It's a trap!
Oh dear, is it what I think it is? There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson, he was already dead. I knew it! I knew it! But we're gonna say hadn't noticed the burn for the lulz. Yes, the professor, being as absent-minded as usual, was unaware of his hand falling into the piping hot plate and didn't even notice the burn happening. You didn't even know the professor, and yet here you are labeling him as a bumbling scatterbrain. How about I hold your wrist on a hot plate and we see how your bumbling scatterbrain copes? Perhaps the scream you let out will wake you up a bit. Well, it's nice that there's this frankness developing between us, partner. Don't call me partner after coming out with these nonsense like that. This is a critical moment. It may very well be our only chance to turn things in our favor. So come on, Ryunosuke. You can do it. Or rather, you have to do it. You're the only one who can. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense. I'm going to say he's asleep. I gotta know what happens. Dr. Wilson was asleep. Yes, the professor, with his tendency to nod off, was asleep when his hand fell into the piping hot plate and didn't even notice the burn happening. You didn't even know the professor, and yet here you are labeling him as a dim-witted dozer. How about I hold your wrist on a hot plate and we see if you can sleep through it? Perhaps the scream you let out will wake you up a bit. Well, it's nice that there's this frankness developing between us, partner. Well, it's the same dialogue, mostly. It's not letting me skip through it quickly, but it's the same dialogue. Okay, now we'll do the actual one, that he was already dead. Dr. Wilson was already deceased. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible. Apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead. Already dead? Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. That's madness! Hold on. Let me check the court record real quick. I gotta see something real quick. There it is. Postmortem report. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caught... Wait, what? Hold on. But that... So when was he killed? A little after 2 p.m. Hold on, let's keep this going.
This is the 19th century, remember?
So that you're saying the postmortem report could be wrong.
They're not really accurate.
I see. Anyway, order, please! Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot. That's right! That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts!
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Ouchie, it's you who has no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon! As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, this court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Britt knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. But Your Excellency! The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. Huh? What was that smile?
Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help,
Excuse me?
especially if it helps relations between my country and yours.
Yo, excuse me? Excuse me? Excuse me? Miss Brett, you speak Japanese?
Well, of course I do. I'm studying in your country, after all.
But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now?
Mother tongue, Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible.
Damn.
But it seems the men of this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level.
What a... Anyway. Oh, well... You are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So, we're finally going to hear her own words in the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke. Oh, here we go. Testimony time. The victim's death.
Fortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burned his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's any other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. Of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway.
Oh boy, we're at the Allegro version of the testimony theme. That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Easy does it.
I hope that is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone.
Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant.
I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today.
The Minister of Justice?
May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen.
Huh? Thanks. Was that a prayer then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed this little bully of a student, as you put it. Doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Nice. Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Cross-examination, let's go. Victim's death. Okay. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that press.
Yes!
But his hand was on the steering hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You can't not have noticed.
Let me ask you something.
Sorry?
Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those unsightly black trousers of yours has been wide open. Can't not have noticed, can you?
Huh? What? Ah!
Haha, what fun!
Did you read that one?
Oh, sorry. I thought that I got disconnected. Hold on. Something's popping up. Sorry. I hadn't realized.
The dear lady's absolutely right. As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself, Ryunosuke. Why didn't you tell me?
Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing?
Oh yes! I think my tiny brain can!
Yes!
Well, I can't!
Anyway.
When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glass in a toast press.
Yes!
As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water. Is that right? Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at that time, if you remember. Which explains why he ordered that drink. Correct, waiter? Exactly as you say, sir. Although... whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table. I'm afraid I don't remember that.
Damn you.
Ah! I have enough English to understand that, at least. For the benefit of others, of course, it means bless you. I think it means the exact opposite.
Anyway.
As far as I've heard, the postman report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot press.
Yes!
Yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma. Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And as there were no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death, it can only have been the bullet from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life. But it doesn't make sense. The burn must have happened straight away when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. Yes, that's true. If it had cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. And if the victim burnt his wrist on the hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, then he must have already been dead at that point.
Attention!
And yet, the fact is that the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Until you're able to show the court evidence to disprove that, this is a complete waste of time. I concur. Prosecutor Ouchie is right. Ugh! If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me press.
Yes!
Without leaving a trace?
Someone is shot, or strangled, or stabbed, or thrown from a height. Whenever a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body.
Quite right, dear lady. And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosonaga? As I've said, I always aim for a flawless investigation. There would be physical traces with all those causes of death, that's true. But maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark.
If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it?
Oh no, perish the thought! Calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question? On my honor, I, Takechi Ouchi, will cut down any who dare catch such aspersions. A way of killing someone that leaves no trace. We need some evidence to back us up here. Yes, evidence. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on an enemy press.
Yes!
Inferior? What do you mean by that?
In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, investigate once, and that's the end of it. Isn't that so?
Quite right! La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident!
Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost.
Hold on! What? Ooh! Ooh, is that the thing from, Professor Layton versus Ephesians, right? Ooh! Ooh, I love that mechanic! I'm sorry,
It doesn't
continue.
even occur to your, naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand.
A killer blow! The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful! Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchie is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. What do you think, Rinosuke? I think it's going terribly! No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected. She's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a clink in her armor. Kazuma. What, Ryunosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Hosonaga. The detective. Yes, he seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman and herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma was thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again. Oh man, I'm happy that mechanic came back. I actually really liked it. Alright, skipping to the last statement. Alright, press.
Yes.
I mean, I kind of guessed it would when I found out that this game had, like, cross-examination of multiple people, but I wasn't sure. Alright, skipping ahead a little bit. This country basically wants that's the end. Isn't that so? Quite right. Wait. Yes, there it is again! The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. You're right. Look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man in his train of thoughts. Sorry, pursue? I'll explain how to do it now, Ryunosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker. What marker? At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. But by moving the marker left and right with the D-pad, you can turn your attention to other people in the stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with A. If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand, take a good look around. Alright then, so first I should move the marker across with the control pad and focus on the detective. Then pursue him with A and see what's on his mind. Here we go. Investigation take a different direction. Okay. Okay, there we go. It took me a second. And pursue. Excuse me. I was wondering what we. Ah! What's the meaning of this? Wow, that really took him off guard. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts. Deeply. It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say. If there's something you'd like to say, please, share it with the court. What is the meaning of this? It's the delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment. If you can't find fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately. Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yes, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved with the case. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Well, yes. If you don't mind, I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hasanaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. A crime scene thief? Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example. Oh, she noticed that. Is that? This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it. One day, our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming. I guarantee it. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. The carbonated water bottle the victim and Miss Brett shared on the day of the murder. It was on the victim's table. Can I examine that? Let me have a quick look.
Maybe. I don't know if you're...
There we go.
Yeah.
Let me examine the label on the front first. The label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. This must be very expensive water. Yes, but what does it say? That's what I was asking. Then go to France and ask. You could just say that you don't know. Let me examine the top of it. Nothing to examine there. Examining the bottom of it. I don't see anything that's worth examining on it. Okay.
It was just... I think it was only the label.
Okay, continuing on. Miss Brett, can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death?
Yes, it was that bottle.
What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor. We're back to statement 1. But I think we have new evidence now. If there's some way life can be taken without leaving a trace. Interesting. Perhaps poison?
Yeah, it would be poison. Let me see.
He was shot and subsequently dead. Death occurred a little after... Haha! Hold on! The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. It could mean that it was caused by... That could be just what they assumed. Okay, I'm presenting the evidence here.
Yes!
What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. Poison? On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order! 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 And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could possibly have done it. Jezailles Brett! It was you! This is outrageous! There's such a thing without a scrap of evidence! You little rookie imbecile! Have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusation could jeopardize the entire treaty? Objection! This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime. What? The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth.
If I may.
I will silence you forever for this disgraceful attack on the young... Oh!
It is you. You should be silent.
Of course. Dear lady! Where did that come from? She just snapped.
I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies.
I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring?
Describe your police force as inferior. No matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this matter You still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe? The bottle, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not.
Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it! Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And what did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. Wait, in this country? We could find no trace of poison in any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. No! No!
I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you.
But of course, dear lady! The pleasure was all ours! God, there's so many twists and turns in just this first case alone. I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience that has caused you, Miss Brett.
Oh no. I'm just glad the matter is resolved.
Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present to court at this point? Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more.
Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving.
Okay. Oh no. What? Who? Susato?
Please, wait.
Isn't that... What is the meaning of this?
Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Misato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense.
Mikotoba? In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package wrapped up in a furoshiki cloth. Is this her theme? If it is, it's really good. Oh, to be continued. What? Oh no,
That's
there is
long.
no... Oh my god, this case. Yo. Oh my goodness. Do you know if this last part is as long as the previous two?
Yeah, it's about the same.
Okay. All right then. I mean,
each part is about 2 hours, give or take.
we're about an hour and a half in, so if we do another one, it'll probably bring us about 3. Damn it! I would really like to keep going, but I know you got to rest. Okay, we're gonna have to call it here for tonight. Oh man, but that was really good. Damn it. I love it. I love it though because I mean it sucks that we have to stop now, but at the same time, I'm glad that the case is nice and lengthy. That has all this information. I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked though, a little shocked because like. You know, the one who I'm assuming is the killer is right there, and like it still takes another not day, but like another part to convict her. This is crazy. I'm excited to see how the next part goes. What's up?
Great Ace Attorney, most trials there are like about 3 or 4 parts. It just depends.
This is true. The first game is a bit shorter than the other two by far. Like. In the trilogy, because the cases I do remember, went on multiple parts in like 2 and 3, for example. Like even case 1 in the third Ace Attorney game was just a tad lengthier than the first 2 cases. I mean, the first case in both 1 and 2. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll have to call it there, but I guess whenever you and I have another free opportunity, we will do the conclusion of case 1. So that will be that for tonight. Yeah. I want to thank everyone for coming out to the Return of the Great Attorney. I promise it won't be too long before we get out another part for you guys because I really want to see what happens next. Oh my god, I'm very excited. This game is great. I'm glad we finally got the mechanic in. By the way, the reaction mechanic where you see how other people react to testimonies. It was one of my favorite parts of Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. And I'm glad it came back here, which makes sense, of course, because if you have multiple witnesses, why wouldn't you bring back the mechanic? It was great. But yeah, for everyone watching, we are going to be doing more Great Ace Attorney whenever we get an opportunity. It might be the next weekend. It might be later. It might be sooner. I'm hoping it's at least at the next weekend. But we'll see how our schedules line. It just is what it is. We'll get there when we get there, and we're taking our time. But yeah, that's that. For those watching, thank you again for coming. Tomorrow, at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're doing another episode of HP Critical's Does It Hold Up? My guest will be Rodrigo, a.k.a. Seth Ramel. We're going to be playing 2 puzzle games. One is going to be Magical Drop 2, and the other one is Bamboozle. I don't know anything about these puzzle games, so he and I are just going to, do our best and see how these games are, and we'll let you guys know at the end like we always do. Wednesday, we're going to be doing another episode of Brandon's Fortune Street Night, so tune in for that. Same time, 8 p.m. on Wednesday. And then this coming Friday, it'll be another part of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. As of last part, we have finished Skyview Temple. We have a quest that has us need to find the little girl Kukyo. So the next part will be dedicated to starting that side quest of finding her, as well as exploring the Elden Province, which is the next major area in Skyward Sword. So again, that's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern on Friday. And yeah, that's about everything for now. I can also confirm that I am in the process of trying to get another Super Mario Party session going, though I cannot confirm any times of that at this time because I have no idea and I need to confirm some guests for that. So stay tuned for that. We will announce that on our social media when I have more information to give you guys on that. In that respect, I'll go ahead and say if you want to follow all of our content, whether it be articles from our website, posts that we do, pictures, or when streams go live, like for example the return of Greatest Attorney, as well as that Super Mario Party session, and just reminders of everything else I just said. You can follow us on Instagram at HP Critical Gaming, Facebook at HP Critical, and Twitter at critical_HP. And yes, as I mentioned, we do have a website, hpcritical.com. On that website, we have many articles written by writers like myself and Christy, available on gaming and other topics like movies, shows, anime, books, and more. Our site does get updated frequently, so definitely check every now and then for some new articles from our wonderful team. And while you're on the website, you can sign up for our newsletter as well. And if you do that, you will get monthly emails on our top-rated articles on the website. You'll get information on stream schedules that we post every month, podcast information for our weekly podcast that we do, info on upcoming tournaments and play sessions that we host, Patreon info, and every newsletter I have a thank you to all of our Patreon supporters as well. And yes, we have a Patreon if you want to support us. We're at patreon.com/hpcritical. Every month you'll get goodies like bracelets, stickers, and other things. And if you want, supporting us on the Patreon can also net you a spot on our weekly podcast that we do. All you got to do is support us on Patreon, shoot us an email, and you can talk with the podcast crew on any podcast. We talk about like gaming news and other things. So yeah, that interests you, go ahead and check that out. On our website, we also have our Teespring store. You can grab yourself all kinds of cool stuff like t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, leggings, blankets, pillows, literally all kinds of cool stuff, and they come in all kinds of different colors. So definitely check the store, see if there's anything that interests you, and if it interests you, buy it. Yes, and we also have our Twitch Prime and Amazon Prime account. Oh no, we don't. If you have a Twitch Prime and Amazon Prime account, rather, and you haven't used your free subscription yet, consider subscribing to us. We stream 3 to 4 times a week, and subscribing to us on Twitch gets you cool emotes that you can use in our chats. Again, we do stream pretty often, so you get your money's worth out of it. I believe that's everything from the website, that is. So if you want... Oh, I'll mention this as well. I want to get into the habit of mentioning this. This playthrough and many other playthroughs we do, including the podcasts, is all on our YouTube channel, HP Critical, with a spacing between HP and Critical. So if you missed any part of our past... if you missed our past episode of Great Ace Attorney, want to catch up, or if you want to catch our full playthrough of the original the original Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, you can catch all the parts on our YouTube. They're all there available. You can watch all that along with every other playthrough that we have. We got a lot, so you'll have plenty of content to go through. Again, that is HP Critical, spacing between HP and Critical. So yeah, that is everything. If you want to follow me, I'm at Mr. Louidon. Christy, where can they find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at RubyAmber5.
Wonderful. And thanks again, guys, for coming out. We hope to have Great Ace Attorney for you soon. I hope to have more Great Ace Attorney for you soon. But stay tuned, guys. We'll come back as soon as we can. Until then, have a great night, everyone, and take care. Bye!